Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Runestone. Today we're doing Magic the Gathering Top 10 Scroll cards. So now, at number 10, with the first one being our list, is from Scroll of Abnican from Junspart or Abnican Restored. It's a common going at average price with just whopping 15 cents on the market. Basically, pays 1 to put it into play, sacrifice it, draw a card. If you control an angel, you gain 5 life. So that's actually pretty impressive if you do have an angel in play. Why not? So let's move on to number 9 is Scroll of Griselbrand. It's from the same set. It's a common going for an average price of 7 cents on the market. This one's I find it just a little bit better for this common, even though it's cheaper, is sacrifice. Target opponent discards a card. If you control a demon, that player loses 3 life. And I feel like discarding cards is more annoying than anything else. So let's just move on to number 8. With the next one on our list is Scroll of the Masters. It's from the list or Fate Reforged. It's a rare going for just 21 cents on the market. This one costs 2. It says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may put a lower counter on it, which is very easy with, say, red or blue. Pay 3. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each lower counter on Scroll of Masters. And this is kind of effective because it does only cost 2 mana, so you can actually use this quite effectively if you choose to use this rare. So let's move on to number 7. Where we have is Scroll of Origins from Saviors of Kamigawa. It's a rare, that's right, 24 cents on the market. It's interesting to see these scroll cards though. It does cost 2, which is typical right now for the scroll cards. Tap it, draw a card, and if you have 7 or more cards in your hand. Well, you can work around that if you choose to. There's a lot of cards. When it comes to scroll cards, this one I actually think is deserving a number 7. So there's nothing special, nothing on, so let's move just straight up to number 6. Which next is Scroll of Fate from Commander 2019. It's a rare going for 33 cents on the market. And I thought, well, you know what, this is actually kind of cool and fun. It's not a very effective card in the Magic world, but it is kind of fun when it comes to scroll cards. This one costs 3 colors and basically has tap it, manifest a card from your hand. And the tapping doesn't cost anything. That's the reason why I think this card is kind of fun, because manifest means put that card into the battle face down as a 2/2 creature, then turn it face up anytime for its mana cost if you choose to. So that can be kind of like a long-term plan, but I do think this card is kind of fun. But let's move halfway down our list to number 5. Is Magnus of the Scroll. It's from Time Spiral. It's a rare, just going for 13 cents on the market. And this one, I don't know, I feel like a super cheap version of Hymn to Turok, but reversed or something like that. Anyway, it costs 1 for a 1/1. And on top of that, it costs 3 mana to use this card. It says, name a card, reveal a card at random from your hand. If it's a name card, it only deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So I feel it should at least be 3 damage. Even if you have 1 card, it's going to pay 3 mana to do that when you can just use a lightning bolt or something. So let's move on to number 4. Next we have is Asmai, Lady of the Scrolls from various sets. It's a rare, and that's right, $1.10. I think this rare should be actually more expensive, but I guess that's the way it is because it does cost 5 mana to play. But it does have tap and untap wizard you control, draw a card. So if you got a whole bunch of wizards in play that somehow survive on top of the 0/2 Lady of the Scrolls, you can keep drawing cards. So when it comes to scroll cards, this is very, very good. Maybe playable in the real world. So let's move on to number 3. We got Merchant Scroll from various sets, various grades, because it kind of flippy floppy all over the Magic world. And then the average price is $4.85. And this is one of my favorite cards from the Homeland series, and I do like the picture. It says, search your library for a blue instant or interrupt, because interrupts back in the day existed. Reveal that card to all players and put it into your hand. Reshuffle your library afterwards. Okay, why not? It's basically a Grim Tutor, but for blue, and you don't lose life. So this is very cool. And surprisingly, it's not the best scroll card. So let's move on to number 2. And I'm sure you've seen this card, but it is Cursed Scroll from Tempest and various World Champ series. It's a rare with $16.81 from being Tempest, or an average price of $2.55 from the World Champ series. And on top of that, it is part of the reserve list. While this impressive card which is actually number 2 on the list. It costs only 1 mana. Then, cost 3 says name a card. Target opponent chooses a card at random from your hand. If he or she chooses that named card, Curse Scroll deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Now, the only difference for this one is it costs 1 to put it into play. Other than that, it could be quite annoying, especially when doing that over and over again. So let's move on to number 1. And with that number 1 spot going to Scroll Rack. It's from various sets. It was originally rare, and then now it is a mythic card. It costs an average price of $17.87. Well, this Scroll Rack card costs 2 colors, or with that, you pay me 1 colors. Tap it, choose any number of cards in your hand and set those cards aside. Put an equal number of cards from the top of your library into your hand. Then put those cards set aside and this way on top of your library in any order. So, well, only 1 mana to do this ability, and you can control your entire library. This card is very, very impressive. This card is amazing in the real Magic world. Best scroll card ever, and a great card in general. So there's the top 10 scroll, and I hope you guys have a good day and a good evening.